talk a little bit about know your rig. One of the things about boondocking is you are not hooked up, so you have to live off of your self-contained rig. So from an electrical and water perspective, let's talk a little bit about that. So let's go with electrical first. On our rig, we have one solar panel and we have some batteries underneath. So that doesn't get us through the day. So 3 or so times a day, our generator has to kick on to charge our batteries up and help us to run.
You have to keep your batteries at a certain level.
Yeah. Your batteries. Yeah, for us, we have AGM batteries, so we can't get below half full on our batteries before they start to become damaged.
Right, and that's something very important to learn because it took me a while to understand the electrical system on an RV. It's very different. Like your rig, our rig, we have some house batteries, which powers like lights and the different control panels, things like that. But typically, unless you have a lot of batteries, it's not going to power 110 things you need to plug in, like if you're plugging in your computer or a TV or something like
Coffee
that.
maker.
Or a coffee maker if you're not. Yeah, so you've got your house battery or batteries, and then a lot of us now have a generator on board, which is great, and maybe you have solar too.
Yeah, and we have an inverter, so our batteries, our battery power gets inverted into stuff that we can run. We can charge up our laptops and phones, and but that all goes back to every rig is different,
yes.
And so you've got to really understand if you're going to go off the grid, so to speak. You've really got to understand what your rig is capable of.
Right, and any rig is going to have batteries.
Yes.
You've got to have batteries. Whether you have solar, you have generator, your alternator's charging up your battery, whatever, you've got to have batteries. And like you said, getting below 50% is not good. Yeah. That's when that starts to deteriorate your battery. But below 50% is kind of a confusing thing for people too, because I know I had to learn this too. Like a 12 volt battery usually reads at about 12.9 or something like that when it's full. But half isn't 6.5.
No.
Half is when you get to about like 12.3, 12.4, and you don't want to go much lower than that before you get those things charged back up, or they just start to degrade, and your battery, you'll find just like, why are my lights not staying on? I just charged my battery, and it's fully charged, but then 5 minutes later it's dead because
your batteries just aren't holding a charge. So much. And I looked up our battery manufacturers and the model number and all that, and found the list of voltages and at what point does it become 50%. So I've got that printed up and next to our control panel, so I have an easy reference, because I kept forgetting what is 12.1. Is that a bad thing, or and different batteries are different. So you've got lead acid, you've got glass mat like ours, and then you've got lithium. So again, know your rig and know what your batteries are capable of, so you know at what point you need to charge. Lithium you can get much lower without damaging them, because those are much deeper cycle, and you can let those go lower before you have to charge them up. So just know what your equipment is. And so you rely a ton on your generator, relatively speaking. We run our generator more here than we have ever run it.
We have to run it at, even when we're super conservative and maybe not even here, maybe we're out playing all day. Even when we're super conservative, we generally need to run it for a couple hours every day just to maintain a decent level of charge. And if we're here working all day and things like that, we've got one house battery, so we usually have to charge it a couple of times a day if we're really using it a lot.
While we're talking about generators, talk about when you're boondocking. Is there any sort of generator etiquette that people should be aware of?
Well, there's etiquette in general in that unless you're literally hanging out with somebody, you probably don't want to be parked real close to them. I mean, if you find a spot, the whole point of boondocking is, generally speaking, you're getting away from other people. Mm-hmm. So, be respectful, give people their space.
Yeah.
Really more space than we get at a campground. Mm-hmm. So that's the point.
Oh, yeah.
So then from that perspective, if you are out by yourself, generator etiquette's probably, it doesn't really matter, because you shouldn't be bothering anybody, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do. We pay attention to that when we're in the middle of nowhere. I don't remember exactly where, somewhere in Arizona. I think we were close to some other people on these trails that we wanted to be at. but there are different options. So the spot we really liked was like beautiful, but it was right next to somebody else, and we knew we had to run our generator, so we purposely chose another spot that was a little further away.
Right.
Because even if you're in an RV as a weekend warrior, sometimes you're not going to run your generator. Oftentimes you want to be there to get away from it, and you don't need to hear somebody else's generator running for 4 hours. So we try to be very respectful of that.
Yeah, and if you're out there and you're not a weekend warrior, if you're like us working or whatever and you have to run it sometimes, we just try to time it right so that it's like we don't have to run it at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
No. We don't have to run it at 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, and wake everybody up. But I've seen plenty of other people boondocking, not usually right next to us, but maybe up the road a little bit or something, and I can hear their generator faintly running all night long. Because they're running their furnace maybe or something.
Yeah. I've had
we don't run our furnace hardly ever.
No, we don't. But I've had people come up to me, and we've come up to them too when we're kind of close in the middle of nowhere, and I'll be like, "Sorry about the generator." No problem. It's okay. You can run it because I'm going to run mine next.
People are very understanding.
They get it.
Yeah.
Most of us are in the same boat, unless you've got a great solar bank. And then you don't ever have to run a generator, then you might get a little snobby at us and say, "Hey, why are you running your generator, man?"
And let me tell you how many people actually use
and I'm envious.
those apps. A lot. So they're all finding the same boondocking spots, and we're all kind of together, and that's how you meet people, and everybody's running the generator, and everybody's doing their things.
Just as always, be polite.
I would say 99.9% of the time, though, when we're out boondocking and stuff, people are more the type of, "Hey, can I help you with that?" Or if they see that you're struggling with something, usually people are going to be nice and help. And I mean, we have extreme examples of that.
Well, to Deborah's point about generator etiquette, I have read quite a few examples of people that will find a beautiful spot like this to park in the middle of nowhere, and then someone else will drive up and park
right by them,
very, very close to them. And so that's there's no reason to do that.
No, we don't do that unless we're planning it. Like here we're together, so we're not right on top of each other, but we're not that far apart because we want to be together.
Well, even this is a very large spot, which could hold 4 to 5 rigs
easy.
And I think if someone was out here by themselves and had this spot and there was nothing else open, right? So then it's probably just polite to go ask.
Absolutely.
Done that. You've got this end. I'm going to take that.
No, we've done that, and we've had people ask us before when we're in spots. And
but that's how you meet people and say hi, and then you meet your best friend.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, like us, we usually go up with a 6-pack of beer and say, "Hey,
do you mind?
Park right here.
This will be our payment."
Grease the wheels a little bit.
Yeah, smart man. Smart man.